I'm dropping a blueprint that can flip the ceiling without torching the floor. A two-team structure that redefines the window, reshapes the pecking order, and still keeps the long-term play within reach. I'm going to walk you through the timing, the cap logic, the rotation math, the on-court fit, and the culture calculus piece by piece before I lay the full framework on the table. Stay locked in. The reveal will make the earlier clues snap into place. Here's the briefing. I'll start with why the current build is at a crossroads and which paths are realistically available under the new CBA constraints. Then I'll draw a clean line between incremental tweaks and transformational swing, using trends from the last two postseasons to show which kind of team actually survives in May and June. From there, I'll map a frontcourt profile that collapses the paint on offense and erases the paint on defense, plus a wing finisher who relieves pressure on our primary initiators. Only after we cover the asset lane, the dollar-for-dollar rules, and the locker room impact will I put names to the idea. By the end, you'll have a full picture, how it works, what it costs, what it changes on day one, and how it ages. Let's set the stakes. The Western Conference has doubled down on violent rim pressure, quick trigger threes, and bigger switchable lineups. Guards initiate, but the teams that last have gravity that lives at the elbows and the restricted area. Our identity has to be built around that truth, not nostalgia, not romance. You need a rim that bends when you drive, and a rim that bends when the other guys try to score. The last two champions didn't just score efficiently. They took away your first plan and dared you to live with your second. If we want to be the team that forces series to be played on our terms, we need more structural force, not just hot shooting weak stock cap reality Knicks. Under the latest rules, you can't simply out-aggregate your way into talent. The apron punishes in discipline. That means any high-end move must be surgical. Money in, money out, with a clear logic trail for why the new dollars travel better in May than the old dollars did. Draft capital is a tool, not a lifestyle, and star math only works if the pieces fit. I'm not interested in dopamine trades. I'm interested in lineups that win Game 5 on the road. Rotation math matters. The modern Lakers have lived in stagger mode, one aside creator on the floor at all times, plus 3 role players who screen, cut, and shoot. That works in the regular season. In the playoffs, your second option has to be a first option at something. Rim pressure that breaks schemes, defensive range that kills sets before they start, or connective scoring that punishes blitzes. If the second option is just solid, you're playing every game uphill. So what does a transformative swing actually solve? It gives Anthony Davis a co-anchor who turns the lane into a no-fly zone and a downhill partner who makes every pick and roll a coin toss the defense can't rig. It adds a wing scorer who runs in lanes, finishes at speed, spaces just enough, and soaks up possessions when the primary creator is bottled. It lets us live in 5-out spacing one trip and then bully the rim the next without changing personnel. It simplifies roles for our shooters, narrows asks for our utility defenders, and increases the margin for error late in the clock. Now think about style. I want to play faster without getting sloppy. Rebound, outlet, 2 strides, paint touch, kick. I want our bigs sprinting into early seals that force tags and open the arc. I want our half court to run through a simple hierarchy. Hunt the rim first, punish collapse shells second, post seals third. Defensively, I want to toggle between switch everything, late switch, and soft drop depending on matchups, with length at the nail to erase middle drives and athletes on the glass to finish possessions. If we build toward that, we stop playing reaction basketball and start dictating. The league knows our leverage points. Everyone asks if we'll protect our best young asset, how willing we are to absorb short-term turbulence, and whether we're serious about maximizing the last great years of Anthony Davis while creating a bridge to the next figurehead. The answer can't be a press release. It has to be an acquisition that makes the locker room say, we can win 4 rounds with this, and make scouts nod when they see the spacing map, Before I unveil the names, here's the core of the concept. We send out two faces, one a living legend, the other a beloved ascending guard, and we bring back a two-time MVP who pulverizes paint for a living plus a scoring forward with bounce, size, and confidence who knows our market. The returning salaries fit a star plus starter mold. The production rebalances the shot diet, and the defensive ceiling spikes. The outgoing value is massive in narrative weight, but the basketball value we get back is more aligned with how playoff possessions are actually decided. Let's talk basketball first. Money second. The centerpiece incoming player will be the league's most violent north-south force. He forces early help, he turns corner closeouts into emergency rotations, and he produces points even when the first plan fails because his second and third efforts overwhelm. Pair that with Anthony Davis, and your paint becomes radioactive for opponents. You can play inverted pick and roll with either handling. You can run short roll reads that end in dunks or wide open threes. You can attack switches until something breaks. Add the incoming wing, comfort at 6 to 8, a credible dribble pass shoot mix, and a willingness to be the third option without disappearing. That balance holds in the regular season and scales in the playoffs. Here's how it impacts everyone else. Your shooters are happier because the catch-and-shoot windows are cleaner. Corner threes on time and on target when the rim collapses. Plus second-chance looks because the new front court hunts every board. Your defenders are happier because they can press up on the perimeter knowing the back line is a wall. Your coach is happier because he gains lineup flexibility. Bid bully units, pace units, and switch units without personnel whiplash. And your late game offense simplifies. Screen with force. Hit the pocket, force the low man into a choice he hates. Now the framework. This is the moment. The trade concept I've been building toward is this. Austin Reaves and LeBron James out. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kyle Kuzma in. It's audacious, it's heavy, and it's also the cleanest way to convert narrative weight into playoff utility. You're trading the most famous star of his generation and a homegrown fan favorite for the most unstoppable rim attacker alive and a wing who fits the gaps this roster has shown for 2 seasons. It is the definition of a franchise-redefining swing. Let's respect the gravity of sending LeBron James out. You don't do that unless the timeline conversation is finished privately and everyone agrees on direction. If that box is checked, you convert his salary slot into a prime-age MVP whose contract length syncs with Anthony Davis and who thrives in the exact places the modern playoffs are decided. Austin Reaves leaving hurts. He's a culture piece and a hub you trust late in games. But the incoming wing sops up usage at forward, giving our creators cleaner reads and providing secondary scoring without needing the ball to stop. On court, start with the AD-Giannis pairing. Defensively, that's terror. You can switch late, play at the level, or sink into a soft drop with length behind it. Every drive becomes a test of nerve. Every floater becomes a prayer. On the glass, you're a problem for 48 minutes. Offensively, you run 4 core families. 1. High 77 pick and roll with Giannis handling and a D screening. 2. Inverted 5 to 4 pick and roll with a D handling from the elbow. 3. Delay series in the dribble handoffs where the wing Kuzma attacks the weak side as a slasher. And 4 early seals where one big sprints for deep position and the other sets the pin in to free the corner. The beauty is, you don't need a perfect shooting night to score. The rim pressure builds a base dot. The spacing question is fair. 2 non-snipers up front can clog a half court if you stand still. The fix is movement, split cuts from the slot, dunker spot lifts, and early drag screens that force the big to choose between tagging and closing out. Kuzma's willingness to take threes off movement and attack long closeouts becomes the release valve. Your guards, whether as primary initiators or pace igniters, don't have to be perfect. They just have to deliver the ball on time and keep the cuts honest. And when teams shrink the floor, you punish by running Giannis as the screener. So the low man is smaller, and the lob is automatic. Let's layer in the rotation. Regular season innings eaters matter. You can't ride the stars to fumes in December. The wing addition plays 30 to 34 minutes as a connector who can shift the small ball power forward. The MVP runs 34 to 37 with staggered minutes to anchor the second unit in 4-minute blasts. Anthony Davis remains the compass. The defense lives with him. And the closing five adjust by opponent. A. Shooters heavy versus deep drop teams. B. Switch wings versus heliocentric guards. C. Size versus bully ball. The key is redundancy. 2 engines who generate paint touches on demand and a third scorer. Who tilts matchups without demanding the ball? Now the money. Star-for-star trades are about salary bands and control. You're exchanging one superstar contract and a mid-tier deal for one superstar contract and a mid-tier deal. Picks likely sweeten the pot. The question is whether the incoming years line up with your retool cycle and whether you maintain enough flexibility to keep building around the core. In this blueprint, you do. You've transformed the top of your roster into a front court fortress while keeping the tools to add. Shooting and point of attack defense on the margins. Culture check. Bringing in a 2-time MVP reshapes the room in a day. Standards rise because the effort baseline is non-negotiable. Bringing back a wing who understands the market and has no fear of the stage keeps the energy light enough to breathe. The goal isn't to win press conferences. It's to make practices intolerable for bad habits. This combination does that. It also resets the fan conversation from "what if" to "show me the schedule." That matters in a city that sees through posturing. Let's be adults about the risks. You will miss LeBron's organization of late clock possessions and the calm he brings when the game gets drunk. You will miss Reeves' feel, his knack for creating points without athletic advantage. The incoming duo must replace that value differently. Brute force at the rim, whistle pressure that changes free throw math, and a wing who lives in the gaps defenses yield when they panic. Shooting variance will still exist, but the floor of your offense rises because layups and free throws travel. What changes immediately? Transition pace goes up. Teams pay for bad shots. Free throw differential tilts your way. The best paint pressure player in the league arrives. Defensive rebounding locks in. 2 elite board men finish possessions without fouling. Your crunch time identity becomes simple. Force a rotation, attack the fryer, live at the line or dunker spot, and defend without helping off corners. That's how you string road wins in a series. What changes by spring? Your playbook thins in a good way. Fewer cute sets, more bread and butter that survives scouting. Your role players stop toggling between asks that don't suit them. Shooters shoot, stoppers stop, slashers slash. Your coaching staff spends less time hiding weaknesses and more time weaponizing strengths. The result is that Game 3 on the road feels like Game 3 at home. Grim, physical, and winnable by force. I'll say this flatly. If the private timeline conversation with LeBron has run its course and there's mutual clarity, converting that slot into Giannis Antetokounmpo while adding Kyle Kuzma as a scalable scoring forward is the cleanest way to aim the franchise at another banner without pretending time stands still. It is ruthless. It is honest. And it is exactly the kind of move that makes sense in a league where advantages compound when you live in the paint. Before I close, I want you in this with me. Do you back this trade framework LeBron James and Austin Reeves out? Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kyle Kuzma in knowing the cost in emotion and memory because the basketball fit spikes our two-way ceiling? Or do you prefer an incremental path that protects the current core, spreads shots thinner, and bets on internal leap plus shooting variance? Drop your full take below. Your starting 5, closing 5, and the one bench piece you prioritize if this goes through. My concise read. This swing converts star equity into playoff inevitability, a front court that breaks schemes, and a wing who oils the gears, while preserving enough flexibility to finish the roster with shooters and stoppers. If the door is open, you walk through it. If it's not, you don't force it. But you have this plan ready because chances like this vanish as quickly as they appear. If you value sharp, no-nonsense breakdowns delivered the second the board shifts, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and send this video to the group chat that argues rotations at 2 a.m. I'll keep bringing you the cap math, the film truth, and the real options, not the noise, not the fluff.